I'm in the disaster
I
zone.
always feel like my posture is weird with the mic, like right the way I have
You can
it.
put it between your legs.
You
It's
gotta,
uncomfortable.
You gotta cradle it like this. You gotta be like, hey.
Yeah.
You gotta be very intimate with it. You gotta
I feel like I have to be. Yeah.
Caress it.
Yeah. It's gonna be all right.
Like how we
That was good.
roll the intro. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Bitcade. This is Bitcade episode 9. 9 episodes have begun as of right now. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan E. Moore, but joining me right here is Quinn.
I'm Quinn.
Oh, you're Quinn today.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
Quinn today.
All
I'm
right.
feeling like the Quinn attitude. Right
Okay.
now.
All right.
Okay.
And over on the far end
Yeah,
is David.
Yeah, David. I'm
David.
over here. David, yeah. People start calling me that at work now, and
Really?
yeah.
Is
and
it
I don't
because
know,
I started calling it to you more frequently, or is it more of like...
No, I don't know who started it, but just everybody has been kind of been doing it lately,
was
and
Ryan.
it always takes me back to second grade because my second grade teacher would always call me David, and it drove
Why?
it drove me nuts. I don't know.
Why?
I was like the only kid in the
David.
class that she would say my name in some sort of like Spanish way,
Like
with
when
a
I
hard
think of,
I.
when I think
you know,
of
E.
David, I think of like the Middle East,
Yeah.
like somewhere there.
I had a friend in kindergarten named Navid.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Where did he end up? You don't know anymore, do you?
Well, he moved after kindergarten, and then
Oh.
he came back one time for 4th grade. And then I was like, "Yo, Navid, what's up, my bro?" And then exactly like that.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Hi."
Glad we went down this story. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the official video game podcast of Primal Target. Today, we are talking about the ESRB/PEGI. We're talking about, like, I don't know, how would you
I don't
classify
know.
yours? Like Mad Lib's video games. We'll get into
Mad
that.
Lib,
And also,
Mad Lib build a game.
exactly,
Like
and
build a bear.
video game prices. Those are our topics of today. But first, we are going to talk about the ESRB/PEGI. So I guess I'm leading that one. Yeah,
you
you're doing the
want.
Sure.
game
That's
price
fine,
one.
that's
Okay,
fine.
all right.
Yeah,
So the ESRB and the PEGI, and why. So in this topic, I was more of wondering, because we all have worked retail at some point in time.
I sell video games.
Exactly.
Like for a living.
I've done that as
Yeah.
well. I don't know if you've sold at the
You
front
know,
end.
when I'm out on the streets, I'm not gonna say exactly what
And
my
you're-
job
and
is.
You're pushing
I'm
those
like-
games.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
like, "Hey, you want a game?"
You actually have like a trench coat and you're like
Yeah.
this every time. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about, because I was having this conversation with my dad the other day, and I just realized I didn't have a stopwatch going. It's fine. I was having this conversation with my dad about, he wasn't like fighting me on it, but I was just more of talking to him about like why people can criticize games like GTA and Call of Duty and Mortal Kombat, which we'll get into, of why, why are games shouldn't be, kids shouldn't be playing games like this. And it's like, yeah, there's a
They're rated like
system
that, yeah.
like that to, if only there was a system to prevent that sort of thing from happening.
Mm-hmm.
And-
It's like in movies.
Yeah.
You don't you don't take your kid to go see a rated R movie.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's like, I feel that when people will challenge the fact of, like, for example, I used to do this like gaming event, and it was with teens, and so Halo
Mhm.
had the M rating. Now I do feel like in some aspects ESRB does drop the ball.
I feel like for Halo, I feel like that's a soft M rating. I think.
Because like it's a hard T at most. I
Yeah.
don't even know how it could be an M rated.
I think it's just for violence and probably swearing.
But there isn't that much. There isn't any swearing in it though. There's
I think
he says damn, but that's Sarge, the Sarge guy.
I don't know, because it only takes a couple swear words for it to go from teen to.
But
to
then
M.
you look at Uncharted, which is a T-rated game.
I don't
but
think it is.
Yeah, the first 3 Uncharteds are T, and
Are
then in
they?
4 it was an M-rated.
Well, I know also over time their values changed. Like I actually think I had this conversation before with one of my friends about how like, oh, this game was M-rated. No, I definitely wouldn't be M-rated now or
You
whatever.
mean like Mortal Kombat?
Well, I mean,
No,
like
I'm just kidding.
it's just interesting to see like, well, but see then why was Halo rated at an M rating for so long, and then finally with Halo 5 dropped to a T. Like it's essentially the vice versa version of Uncharted. Like
Right.
because there's times where, like Nate will be ducked down and like a grenade gets chucked over there. He's like shit, and he's running away.
No, yeah, no, I know that
And
voice
so-
line you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's in all the Uncharteds, and they're
Uh-huh.
all T-rated games.
Yeah.
So like I was just wondering, like there's those situations that happen. So I feel like without parents, having those knowledge of what, because one of the big deals with going to like PAX is they really push the ESRB system. So they'll have it like on their website. They'll have like ESRB, and then I think Mike Krahulik actually drew something for them, and they say for the adults to be a part of the gaming thing. If you don't know what your kid is doing,
Yeah.
then you can't go back to Rockstar and say, well, you guys shouldn't put strip clubs in your game. It's like, well,
You
you don't have to do them. Except, I guess in GTA 5, there's
in
a
GTA
mission.
5,
There is one mission.
You are in the strip club a lot.
Well, there's
for
just-
missions.
There's just one like section that you have to, and then there's one part where Franklin, because I'm going through it again, where Franklin is like just there, but you
Well-
could walk out. But yeah,
well,
I guess there's that.
But
But
yeah, but there are moments where doesn't like Trevor like own it at one point, if I remember right.
yeah, but it's
later
only
in the
for a
game.
cutscene. It's only for a cutscene.
I remember spending a lot of time in there
Oh, okay.
just because.
I don't know. Maybe that's just maybe that's a different conversation. but still, like, or the fact of where like people criticize GTA with the whole like hot coffee situation where you can have.
Oh, do you mean the part that was taken out of the game? And
yeah,
people had to mod
but
back
but
in?
even like now where you
Right.
can like drive up to a corner, honk your horn, and the girl
Right.
gets in the car. That doesn't have to happen. Like
Right, you don't have to.
okay, at worst, the game pushes the strip club to you.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can get like
A hooker?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's not pressured into you.
You
Like
gotta get
you
that-
go and do that yourself.
You got to get that 150 health, man.
I guess. But like I feel like if a parent doesn't know where the game is, then why did you just buy your child that game?
No,
Like-
I warn parents all the time.
because they asked for it.
Exactly,
And they've been
like
a
I
good
said.
little child.
And they're out of my hair now.
Yeah.
Or
No, I think that's exactly
They're
it.
out of my hair until they
My
cause
kid-
trouble due to the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I think that's a big issue, at least with my experience because I'm in the electronics area. I'm selling these games to these kids, and these parents are just like completely oblivious because like I'll scan the game, like I'll scan we'll just use GTA because we're talking about. I'll scan it and it'll immediately ask for ID.
Yeah.
Immediately it'll pop up
And
on
you
the
have
system,
to scan ID.
and I have to our system. You have to scan the ID. I can't. They don't let us type in the date. So like you can't just give me your date.
Mhm.
So the parents have to hand me their ID, and then they're always like, "Well, I have to give you my ID." I'm like, "Well, it's because it's a mature rating."
Mhm.
Like, "Well, why is it a mature rating?" And then I will straight up tell them, "There's sex, there's nudity, there's torture," and they're like, "When this, am I getting my kid this?" I'm like, "Well, apparently you are getting your kid this."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Would you buy this for your kid?" And I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't."
Because I was like with the so like for example, going back to what I was trying to say about Halo was I actually brought Halo and Call of Duty to this gaming event for like teens. Now,
Are you
for
talking about the event that I participated in once?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
all right.
I'm choosing not to use
Yes,
the
I
name because
understand.
yeah. But the so for example, like Halo, it was starting to get looked at bad because it was an M-rated game. But then I'm like, well, the characters don't say anything. It's red versus blue.
Right.
There's no conversation that
It's
people
just
have.
violence.
Now, Call of Duty, still there was never really dialogue except in the newer ones. But I guess like old Black Ops, the characters never talked to each other, and so that was where people started to get a little uppity about it. Or zombies. Obviously, the zombie characters will have conversation with each other, they'll say one little bits of dialogue. So to prevent that, I just went into the settings, turned off dialogue, and then had them play it. Now, a lot of people were looking at it as, well, how can you allow these teens to play the game because there's still violence, you're still shooting somebody? And I was like, well, I mean, it's essentially paintball right now. Mm-hmm. So, like, in my mind, I don't see it as bad. So I may have stepped out of the bounds there, but people were, I feel like the person that eventually told and complained about it, and then we actually retract Call of Duty for a while until that person went away, and then we brought Call of Duty back. But, like, it was, I feel the only way of getting around figuring out if a game is correct for your kid is you need to play the game. And
or just do your research.
Yeah, or look it up and figure out what it is. The ESRB website actually tells you everything you need to know. Mm-hmm. Like, it tells you, why is there nudity in here? And then they'll explain to you, well, there's this part in the game.
This scene and this scene and
which
this
is
part.
Pretty like, the ESRB website actually works. Now, for our European fans and also, I guess, around the world, because Peggy is your guys' equivalent. I've never gone to a Peggy website. I've just gone to the ESRB one because that's what North America uses.
We use, yeah.
But I feel it's just the same. Like, Peggy's a little more strict because
I have
obviously
noticed that. Yeah.
There's games like Left 4 Dead that have been banned. I think Left 4 Dead. No, not Left 4 Dead. Dead Island was banned
Dead Island
in Australia.
In Australia.
Yeah. And then I think there was some reworked thing. And then even soft banning, which was like South Park Stick of Truth. There's a scene where there's an alien that anal probes one of the characters. And so that scene is taken out and replaced with a crying koala, I think, or something like that.
Something like a dig on it.
Yeah. And it was a joke as to that situation. But I feel like, these ratings are there for a reason, and if you're not going to be the adult of the situation and not look up the game that you're going to buy, this is not the game developer's problem. They're creating content. Like, the way I look at video games is the same way I look at music. It's an art style. Mm-hmm. So if the art is created to be this way, it's kind of the same thing of where I look at a movie. Now, I will say, I get a little bit different on movies because, for instance, sex scenes in movies, to me, are a little bit like, they shouldn't last more than 2 minutes because I already understand what's going on here. They're obviously having sex. Move on. This has nothing to do with the story now. That's why Game of Thrones, to me, for a long time, I just didn't respect because I was like, this scene's going on too long. This is just softcore porn at this point. It's kind of the same thing with music, but I'm a little bit more lenient on music, where if the song was written to be explicit, then that's in my mind how the artist wanted the song to be heard. So I will go and listen to the explicit version of it. So with a video game, the art style is what they created. It's just like the movie. If the sex scene is a cut scene, for instance, like in God of War, where I'm forcibly having to do this, then
quick time event.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I don't know why I'm doing this other than the satisfaction of me just getting more red orbs. Like, that's literally all I'm doing right now. That's a little bit like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, GTA had a scene where Trevor finds out Michael's still alive, and so there's still sound effects outside. So if you hear sound effects, it's because there's work outside, but that's fine.
There's work outside.
But anyway, like, when Trevor finds out that Michael's still alive, well, supposedly he's finding out Michael's still alive. He's banging a biker chick, but like, you don't see any insertions or anything like that. There's even a mission where Franklin has to go. There's a side mission where Franklin has to go and spy on this celebrity that's having sex,
right? Yeah.
And so you're taking pictures.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're taking a video of this situation, and but you don't see it's essentially softcore porn. Like, you don't see anything inserted into other things, but it's visibly humping right now, and so you're kind of like, oh wow, this is something. Like, those are a little bit. I feel like the Franklin thing went on a little bit too long, but the Trevor situation was like, this is how this character is. So here's this. He's doing this. He stops, notices Michael's alive, and then just stops doing what he's doing. That I feel like that's how the scene moved into it, and then it also continued on to why this scene has something to do with another character, and then which Franklin kills the biker guy from Lost in the Dam. But yeah, it's those kind of things where I feel like that's how the artist wanted it to be. So there's the story of the artist. If you don't like it, don't play the freaking game. Don't buy the game for your kid.
Yeah.
GTA made billions of dollars and still is making money. That means the game had to have at least been bought by a couple people under the age of 18.
Well, I've sold it to
A lot of people.
many. I've sold it to many that shouldn't have it, and the parents just they don't care.
Yeah.
I'll tell them, they'll be like, "So what is actually wrong with this game?" And I'll go through and I will tell them, because I have 100% of the game. I know everything that there's to do in the single player. I know all the cutscenes. I know all the events, and I tell them, and that sometimes causes them to not get their kid the game. Other times the parents just don't care.
Yeah.
They just want to get their kid their distraction so that they can do whatever there is that they're doing, and the parent can go and do whatever they want to do.
Yeah. I just
Same thing
feel
with Call of Duty. Same thing with Call of Duty. Like I always try to tell parents, I was like, there are better games for your kid
yeah, and that's
than this cesspool of toxicity.
of M-rated games. And I feel like it's also if you buy games like Call of Duty, it's not even the game's fault.
No.
It's the online community's fault.
That's what I tell people. I tell them, the single player and all that is good. The big negative, in my opinion, with the Call of Duty series is the community and in the lobbies when people are able to just
and then you
with
figure
everybody.
out who's what's that age of demographic that's in that lobby.
Yeah.
Is majority of the time under the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
So like I played Call of Duty when I was in middle school. So it's like, I started with World at War, so I don't know. I feel like I've talked more of the situation off, but one thing that played devil's advocate of just saying what my dad said was, why did it need to be in the game in the first place? And it kind of goes back to what my opinion is the game was designed to be this way, and if you don't like it, you don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're allowing your kid to play it, or I feel also you don't need to shelter your child that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel, you kind of ease them into it. You don't just play E-rated games until you're, out of high school.
Right.
Obviously, your child is going to want to play Call of Duty at some point in time.
Right.
Your child's going to want to play GTA at some point in time because they hear the fun that people have in the game, and that's where it draws those people to those games.
You also got to remember that a lot of kids nowadays watch YouTube.
Yeah.
Watch YouTubers, and those are the big Let's Plays are a lot of those games.
Yeah, but I feel like at the appropriate age, because obviously when you think you have to be you have to be 13 to buy a T-rated game technically.
I mean, it doesn't check.
Yeah, you don't have to check, but I mean,
like,
you kind of. I think that's the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 13 and up buys T-rated games, and then 17 and up buys M-rated games. So I feel like if you eased them into that, you're fine. Obviously, there are going to be games like Uncharted that sneak by the rating system and doesn't get the M rating that it does. Because I feel like playing Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and then going to 4, there's not really a change that happens other than the fact the rating is now M rated than the
because I feel like because I've played through them all, and I feel like if Uncharted was a movie, if it got hit with, I feel like it would be fair to give it a PG-13. I also think it would also be fair to give it a rated R. Like, to me, I feel like it could go either way. I feel like it just depends on, but that's just that specific franchise.
Yeah.
I think I feel like Halo would probably go the same way. I think Halo would. If Halo was a movie, it would probably hit. It probably would get a PG-13.
Yeah.
I think we get a PG-13. I think Uncharted would probably get a PG-13, but if it got an R, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I mean, they don't say the F word, and essentially in movies, you can get away with one F word in a PG-13 movie, but then if you go twice, then it goes to an R. Or if you say F this, it's a PG-13 movie, but if you say F you, it's an R rating, I think. Like if you specifically say something like that. But yeah, I don't know. How about you, Quinn? You've been kind of just listening to us, but
Yeah.
I mean more
Quinn
of
has
me
no
just kind of
opinion.
vomiting out information of just conversations I've had with other people. But like, how do you feel about the ESRB or a parent walking in and buying a GTA game or something like that?
Uh, I think the ESRB is fine. It's just a rating system. It's like I don't have any complaints about the ratings for movies. Like this is rated R, this is PG-13, blah blah blah. I mean, some cases might vary because there's tons of cases where a person could point out, well, why is this rated M but this is PG-13? Why is this that? Blah blah blah. And in my opinion, that's a completely different discussion. About like I guess the flaws or certain things that get by unnoticed. But I definitely think as a parent you're supposed to be held accountable for how you raise your child, and if you're getting your child these M-rated games and they're not prepared for it, then you're not doing a good job of being a parent. And
Yeah, I feel like that's the whole thing. I think when it comes to kids getting a hold of these games, I think it's just 100% on the parent.
Yeah, what makes it more irritating is like if you look back, and people probably still do it, but there was also like a school shooting or something like that was happening, and then they blamed GTA because the two people that were a part of it said like, oh, we did this because of GTA, and it's like, no, you didn't do it because of GTA. GTA didn't tell you go out shoot actual people. You were not mentally prepared to play said game, and I feel like if you don't ease your kid into something like that, maybe there is this subconscious like disconnect that happens.
Well, I mean, I think that also comes down to what kind of a household they live in.
Yeah.
Well, here's the
how
thing.
they are, like, are they like how they are mentally. I think there's more than just
the game, but
Yeah, I was gonna say because I know I had a feeling this would be brought up at some point about like people getting inspiration for violence in video games, and the people that do that, like that enact actions because of video games supposedly, or people blame things happening because of the child playing video games a lot or whatever, is wrong. It's like even if video games didn't exist, that person is still messed up in the head,
Yeah,
and they would find some other source of inspiration too.
Yeah, because there was that guy in Europe who shot like 20 people and said he trained playing Call of Duty for it.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, he
'Cause
played Call of Duty training for
exactly.
it.
You
They
know,
taught him how to do it. Yeah.
All military personnel all have to play the first level of Call of Duty World at War on
No,
veteran.
all
They
he
have to
all
do
he
that.
played was just no Russian over and
exactly,
over and over
exactly.
and over.
Yeah,
they
like,
did the Mile High Club. That's
when
what
I
they-
play
they
Overwatch,
did.
I can rewind time just like Tracer.
Exactly.
I'm like,
You're
wow.
training to rewind
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Because that was one of the things that the person that didn't want Call of Duty at the event was saying, was like, the kids aren't mentally prepared for this. I'm like, I believe you're not mentally prepared for this. If you knew what these kids were already playing
And watching on
yeah,
YouTube.
you have no idea. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying, like, it's like when you look at Gears of War, and Gears of War was actually, I think, my brother's first Xbox game he played. And he was young because I was in middle school, so he was in elementary school. But it was a game that we could play with each other, so that's why I wanted to play it with him. But I always turned off swearing and I turned off violence. And so violence. So you still saw the dude get
cut
sawed in half, but you
there's
didn't
no
see the blood. Yeah.
There's no blood everywhere.
Yeah, but I actually respect Epic for putting those settings in their game. I don't know if Gears of War 4 has that. I didn't bother looking. I'm sure it does. But like that's what the Gears of War series has had, and I want more games to have those situations. Mm-hmm. That way games like Call of Duty could become just a paintball game. Mm-hmm. Like, it's what brings there's a very thin gray line of what is appropriate and what's not for teens to be playing.
For a minor.
I do not think anyone under the age of 10 should be playing Call of Duty, but when you're getting into the preteens and like teenage area, Call of Duty's not so far out of there. But I think if you had that setting, I would be probably more lenient on saying, yeah, this is different.
See, I don't For me personally, I don't think Call of Duty, the game, is the issue.
Oh yeah, yeah.
For me, I think it's like 90% the online community is just toxic and garbage. And if I had a child, I wouldn't want to expose them to that. I wouldn't let them play Call of Duty, and I wouldn't let them play League.
Yeah. Well, League is a little bit different because you just have to read text. You can turn off the chat. but yeah, it's I don't know. We've kind of talked this one and we kind of wrap it up, but I don't know. I feel like the ESRB and the PEGI system are there for a reason, and if you're not looking at them as they're there for a reason,
as the decision maker,
then
like you are the one that's choosing to get your child this
yeah,
game. You should know what you're getting them into.
Exactly. And if you're out there protesting the situation, you can send this to somebody else. I don't really care. That's kind of why I wanted to make the video, was to explain if you know somebody that's already out there going, well, GTA is this, so it's a piece of crap. It's like, well, there is a wall already. There is that wall. It is the ESRB and the PEGI system. That's there. If you're choosing to ignore that and you're going to boycott GTA or Rockstar, Take-Two because they own almost every game, or Blizzard or Activision or anything like that, that's your fault. Like, the game was already rated. It had a fair rating. And if you're not looking it up, again, I just feel like that's just my opinion.
Yeah. No.
I feel like these organizations are set up for a reason. If you're choosing to ignore them, that's your fault.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Anyway, any last words?
I just wish parents would do their research. I'm tired of having to explain to people at work like your kid is like 12. You should not be getting The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
I'm like, would you? Because
do you read the back of the game that says why it's rated this way?
Like, well, the example I give with like The Witcher specifically is when it was new and people were buying it because people aren't really buying it, anymore. I would tell them, well, would you let your kid watch Game of Thrones? And they're like, no, I wouldn't. Then you shouldn't let them play this game.
Yeah, that's probably.
I don't think that. I think that's the fairest comparison I can give in terms of what they're going to come across in that game. And it's the same thing with Call of Duty. I'm like, well, they're going to hear a lot of, homophobic, racist garbage online playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
That you're not going to hear because they're probably going to have their headphones on.
Yeah.
And that might cause them to participate in that. Because I don't know.
What about you? Any last words?
Be a responsible parent.
Truth.
It's time for the next topic.
Oh, I thought he was about to just pop out his mic and then drop it.
Quinn, what are we talking about?
Okay, so I was having this discussion earlier. Everybody
with himself. He said discussion
yeah, with myself.
As one does.
Everybody is like always talking about like, well, if I had this money and the power to do this, I would make the perfect game in the world. It would be randomly generated, infinite dialogue game with unlimited spawning, unlimited story with mining and resource management and survival tactics, but you have like experience bar and then you do all these things and then it has the greatest story in the world.
I think that is Minecraft.
I don't know. Minecraft has the greatest story in the world.
Yeah, it's whatever you create it to be.
Ooh,
Minecraft.
So deep. You're so deep.
Not power.
Send me my check, Microsoft.
So I wanted to do the complete opposite of that. I wanted to make what essentially you have to do is create the worst game that you like, the bane of your existence. Every single thing you hate about video games compiled into one whole like unholy like fusion of disgustingness. Yeah. That is like revolting to look at, but you gotta play through it all. You just gotta play through it all. You just gotta sit down there and you made this game. It's your responsibility, just like the previous topic. You gotta take care of it. You gotta see it through to the end.
Are you okay?
And so,
okay, yeah. He's
so,
got like he's
do
got
you
like.
want to go? How do you want this to go? Because mine's pretty short.
Yeah, so it's gonna be mine.
So do we want to sandwich yours in?
So let me say this. For those watching and you want to participate, this is the criteria, and you want to let us know what your game is. The criteria we have is 1, genre, 2 is story, 3 is mechanics, 4 is music.
Slash story. Yeah, music. Yeah. Okay,
and
go ahead.
5 is characters, and then if you're able to come up with a title.
Okay. So do we want to sandwich yours in since yours is the longest?
He's got pages.
Sure.
Mine's probably gonna be faster
have-
than yours.
I have bullet points.
Yeah,
basically.
mine's not even like that. It's just literally
I
like if I
crafted my
answered, you coded. So I'll go first. So my genre. Now here's the thing. There are some games that I do play that are like this.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're in
I've-
their own thing.
Yeah, no, I feel like we have to look at this like when it comes to the genre. We have games in these like for me as well. The genre I picked, I have games in the genre that I like.
Yeah.
But
Majority of them
this is-
are trash.
this is the genre that I know if I'm not gonna get into,
Yeah.
this is gonna be it.
So I have JRPG/RPG games.
Mhm.
Persona 4 or the Persona series, I very much enjoy. Just when it comes to like Final Fantasy, and again, haven't played a lot of them, but when I have played, I don't like them. And so that's what so games like that.
You played one, right? One Final Fantasy?
I played
played-
2 or 3. I
Okay.
played the first one and I played 10.
Oh, you played the very first. Oh, because it's on the
Yeah,
classic.
it's on the NES
It's
Classic,
on the
yeah.
Classic.
And I was like, no.
Fine.
So the
That's fair.
genre is, I'll even go JRPG.
Mhm.
The characters, silent protagonist. I
Mhm.
don't like silent protagonists. Again, there's some
There are
situations that are
exceptions.
okay,
Yeah,
but even then,
like Link, or I
but
think
see,
like.
I don't know, man.
See,
I don't like Link that much either.
Well, see, I'm not a fan of Link either.
Yeah,
but
that's
I
not
feel
my
like,
stuff.
No, yeah, that's my girlfriend's wall. But I feel like Link though Link in his.
But he even
can
goes,
get away with it.
"Hiya!" Like he goes.
I'm no dialogue though.
But
That's
see
the
that
thing.
see,
He's
I'm
like
talking
a-
about he does not talk like,
So then,
like Gordon.
So you're thinking more like what I'm okay with, which is like what they do in the Elder Scrolls games, where
Where you just don't talk.
your
But you
character doesn't talk,
technically do.
but you give dialogue answers, but your character is
That
just muted.
that doesn't even count.
Okay, all
This is the character says nothing.
right. Okay.
So even if it's like yes, no answers, does that? not
For
count?
example, that I would accept
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon. That character doesn't say a thing, but I enjoy that game. But characters like that, where they
Mhm.
don't talk, like Gordon Freeman, right?
Mhm.
Like he does not talk. He doesn't even make kiot sounds. He just walks around. I hate that character. I don't like it.
You don't like being the self-insert character.
Yeah,
where
well,
you're supposed
it's
to
like,
imagine.
but if I'm supposed to communicate to him, and they're like, it's like Dora the Explorer on the other end. Hey, are you okay with us going down this hallway? Great, let's go. And it's
Yeah.
like, wait, I didn't get to tell you anything.
Yeah.
But okay, and then story is long, and music with long gaps of no music.
oh,
like
so like
breath-
very atmospheric.
Yeah,
so
it was like you don't hear anything. You're just kind of
it's just like
walking around.
ambient noise.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because like and again, there's a few indie games where I would allow that, but like if this is a major like AAA title game, this is trash. Like Breath of the Wild almost got there because they didn't put any music in it except and that's what the Zelda experience is.
yeah, it's a lot of the music.
Yeah, but they did kind of put it in there in some situations. It'll just kind of like slowly rise, and then you're in music again.
Mhm.
So that passes.
It's like that.
But
It's like
with-
that in Skyrim.
Yeah, but
Right,
like
you just
with no
pops in.
music, you're just walking around. It could be an hour and a half, and you're kind of like, okay, I'm just in silence, I
Just
guess.
hearing my footsteps in the
Yeah.
grass.
Mechanics, if it's subtitled and doesn't have a voice actor, or if there's no voice acting at all, or bad voice acting. Bad voice acting is what I don't like. So if you have subtitles, obviously you've written out a script, but why is there no voice acting?
They
If
couldn't
it's,
hide
It
it.
couldn't
They
have been in
do
the
it.
budget.
well,
but-
if it's a AAA game, are we
Oh,
saying
okay.
these are AAA titles?
Well,
yeah, I
it
would say
can be
AAA,
whatever
yeah.
you
Oh yeah,
want.
that's right. Because he says you have like an unlimited budget.
Yeah,
yeah.
well,
if
yeah,
I have
okay.
unlimited budget, if they don't have,
Hey,
so-
this is the artist vision.
that's my. But you said I'm making a trash game,
You're making a
so
trash game.
so the trash game would have subtitles but no voice acting.
Okay, I've actually played a game like that one time, and the only reason they did it though was because they couldn't do voice acting on the GBA. Was
Okay,
the
if
Kingdom
we're-
Hearts Chain of Memories game on GBA? They have the cutscenes, and this was before the PS2 version of that game came out, which is called Chain of Memories. they had the cutscenes, but there was no way. First of all, it was a miracle they could even fit those cutscenes on a GBA. Like, I think that's the only game on GBA that actually has 3D model like cutscene things, and music playing too. So they didn't just swap out the music or anything. And but in order to do that, there's no voice acting during those cutscenes, so it's just like.
But there is some
Subtitles.
sort of voice acting in the game. Though.
In the game, yeah, you hear
But see,
like
that's what I'm talking about.
grunts and stuff like that.
That passes a little bit because, like, at least you added a little. I feel like that's just lazy. If you don't have any
The
like
dialogue.
yeah, if
is
you have
not
no
voice
dialogue
acted.
for anybody, or your main character is a silent protagonist, like if these are combined together, you have a real crappy game.
What would
at
you
this
rather
point.
have? Would you rather have a crappy protagonist or a silent protagonist?
I'd have.
Like one with like such an awful like. Where's Mr. Beach Boy?
Yeah. Would you have a Titus in every single game?
Or would you rather have a silent protagonist?
Would you rather have a Link?
I
or a
think I would. I
Titus?
think I would choose a Titus.
Really?
Just because,
Wow.
like, I prefer to hear the character. No, Link, he doesn't talk at all.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so that's different. Now, if the character was like, oh god, what would be an example of that? You don't have any examples of that.
Cloud.
Cloud.
Cloud
Cloud?
and 7, they don't, well, voice acting wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah.
But they did have, like, the grunts. They
Okay,
got hit.
see, okay, I don't know how to explain it then. But like, okay, let's just say Gordon or Titus. Like, would I rather have a character that doesn't talk at all, or would I rather have a character that does talk but he's really crappy voice acting? I would probably choose the voice acting.
So
one.
if they have like some sort of grunts and stuff like that to distinguish them, that's a little bit step
yeah, because
above.
you can add the character of like, okay, so he actually does have he's not a mute. He can,
Well, yeah, I would
he
say
can relay dialogue to
Link
people.
doesn't talk, but he has a personality. Like
exactly.
you see his personality through his actions and stuff like.
yeah.
But you're saying that I haven't played Half-Life, so you're saying that the Gordon guy, he like makes no noise. He's just
He
like,
doesn't talk at all. He might. Now that I'm thinking about it, he might say something if he gets hit.
I believe he does.
But other than that, like, he doesn't make any other sound.
Does
Like,
the only
as far
time
as
you
I
ever
remember.
see him is like through a reflection or something?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
you never see
you
other than
never
his
Unless
see
on
arms.
other than the case.
The cover, yeah, I don't.
So
I
the
don't
only
remember
other
ever
time you
seeing
see
it.
him-
think, yeah, you've never seen him like from like a third person perspective.
Yeah, it's always first person.
Yeah.
But everyone talks to you as if you're like some deaf mute. Like they need to relay information.
They're
to
just
you.
basically everybody's just telling you what to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I
basically.
was like, and they have voice acting in that game,
Mhm.
especially in Half-Life 2. Like, it's this big, huge production, and it's
Mhm.
like, then why didn't you give your character voice acting? Like, why didn't you give him a voice actor or anything? But yeah, I think if you have bad voice acting, so I'll even do this. If you were making this the worst game ever. The side characters have bad voice acting, and the main character has no voice acting.
It's
the
well,
mechanics
kind of like that in Persona 5.
whoa.
Shots
I'm not gonna.
fired.
I'm not
He's
gonna
not
step on that one.
denying it. He's
I'm like-
not denying it.
Well, I like the voice acting in
I
Persona.
don't
No,
know.
the
think they were
voice acting
bad.
in Persona 5 is good,
Oh, but you're saying.
but the protagonist doesn't
Oh.
say anything.
Oh, he talks
Well,
a lot more than
that's-
Persona 4.
Yeah, because
only
in
time I
Persona
ever hear
4 he
him-
actually says stuff. In Persona 5 he actually says
Yeah,
dialogue.
he goes
For
like.
4 he never says anything.
Yeah.
In
four-
5, all I ever hear, whenever I hear him talk, is when I hit the start button to save, and he goes, "Oh, I should write this down."
Yeah,
or
he
something
Yeah.
goes,
like
I
that.
should write
That's
this
more.
down.
That's 5 more words than
He
would
talks like
write. Oh, I
during
should write
certain
this down. 6 more words.
cutscenes. He'll go like,
animated cutscenes.
yeah, animated
Okay.
cutscenes.
In the beginning of the game, he
Yeah,
talks.
Yeah,
he
he
talks
talks
a little
yeah,
bit.
That's why I was like, "Oh, sweet."
Yeah,
He's
you-
got- and then nothing.
You never talks
Yeah.
in the 4.
Yeah, and
But,
most of
you
the
know.
time the protagonists don't talk in the prior games because you're supposed to be the protagonist. And then if you hear the protagonist's voice a lot, it kind of takes you out.
Yeah.
And the reason they gave the protagonist more dialogue, but still not a whole bunch in this game, was because he's supposed to. You're supposed to get more of his personality in this game. He's supposed to be like a mischievous troublemaker sort of guy.
Yeah, they don't want to. Yeah.
Also,
continue.
inventory management. I freaking hate inventory management. Now, you can make that fine. Like, I think Rise of the Tomb Raider did it probably the most perfect way I've ever played in a game. I
Your
like,
experience.
yeah, I like the tiers of things, and also it being very like this, and this. That's how you do it. If you don't want to do this, you are gonna have to eventually, like, to solve puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
In for example, like in ways that I don't like it, I think Fallout and Skyrim do it way too over the top. Like for me, because obviously you love Skyrim, but like I don't like the inventory of like you can pick up random crap.
Everywhere.
Like I can I picked up a bone.
Uh-huh.
What am I gonna do with this? Oh, you can sell it for like half a bottle cap if you want. I'm like, I don't. Okay, so I guess I'll hold on to this.
Yeah.
And then you're going like this. And you're
'Cause
like,
you're
why am I
'cause
going so slow?
encumbered.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
So I'm like,
holding too much.
because I'm holding too many freaking bones in my pocket right
So
now.
then drop them. Why? You should be picking up bones anyway.
Because I want the stupid money. This is my
Bones are
problem.
not where you get money.
This is my problem with the stupid inventory management. You give me too much options. I don't like this. So
You're overwhelmed by the bones in Skyrim.
the title of my
Now-
JRPG.
Now the dragon bones I can understand because dragon bones you can sell for a lot,
I'm
and
just
those
saying.
weigh like 8 pounds a piece. No, I'm getting too into this.
Yeah,
I'm going too deep.
We're talking about
So-
bones.
So my title of my JRPG, I thought, what could be like a really Japanese, like translated to English name? Nighttime Journey is
Okay.
my name.
Nighttime Journey.
It's my JRPG. with so to recap, it's a JRPG with a silent protagonist with bad side voice acting characters, but half the time it's all subtitled. There's long periods of time where you don't hear music, especially in caves. You don't hear anything. And there's a lot of inventory management, so much so you have to upgrade inventory in order to progress through the game. You start with 10 blocks, and you have to earn up to 100 to at least finish the game. And so
To
the
at least
fi-
finish the game, you have to upgrade your
and
inventory.
it takes 5 hours to upgrade, and you have to do all these convoluted side missions. So the title of the game is called Nighttime Journey. That's my AAA bad trash of a game.
Nighttime Journey. Because it's going to put you to sleep.
Coming to a Nintendo Switch near you.
Take it on the go.
Okay.
Exactly.
Play it in bed.
Yeah, that's why it's
Coming
Nighttime
to the
Journey.
coming to the PSP and the Nintendo DS.
All right.
Yeah, let's strap in here for a second.
I feel like I should just get mine out of
So I stuck to what
Same
I know
yours.
best. So I chose RPG, JRPG, just like Ryan. I don't think mine will be in orders like your guys's because I had to cross
Yeah, we
out
all
things and,
wrote
like,
stuff differently.
Yeah,
in
like the
different
order.
orders,
So-
it doesn't matter.
but you guys will get the general idea of
Yeah.
how things work.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
What is this, Mega Man 2085?
So no. So that was my original pitch. My original pitch.
All right, we're sitting down with Capcom.
My
What are
original-
you saying to them?
My original pitch for this story was, it's 2085. The world has fallen into shambles, but it's up to you and your. And then I didn't finish it.
I feel like you're in the meeting and you go, it's 25. Listen,
it. This sounded better in my head.
you know, I thought about this and I'm not sure about it anymore.
Okay.
Let me see. You just scribble on your
Yeah, I just
paper.
like- Let me
Hold
get
on.
another idea for you. I got another one.
Go ahead. Let's see what we got.
Okay. So the story of this JRPG is you must gather your band of friends to defeat the darkness by using flashlights.
Hey, Alan
Hey,
Wake was
Alan
a
Wake-
great
yeah, I was
game.
thinking Alan Wake
It was a
too.
great game.
Alan Wake was amazing.
You did have a pistol though, so
But you get flashlights in this game.
just flashlights.
I
got
mean,
it.
They're upgradable.
Okay. You can have a from the Duracell one to the sunlight.
And the story is complete with an awful romance forced into there, even though the leads have no chemistry together.
Is this Fire Emblem?
Yeah. Okay. So the characters I put in the game are bland cardboard cutout cliches, like they're all the archetypes. But in this game, they're quite literally cardboard cutouts. Like they're two-dimensional cardboard
Paper
characters
Mario.
that you
Yeah,
control.
okay.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. There's nothing else to them besides their archetypical behavior. They just go, you got the cool one, and he's like, I don't need friends. I just need the darkness.
Batman's in this game? Okay. All
And then you
right.
got the lead, and he's like, embrace the light, fool.
I don't know who that was.
And then you got the girl, and her personality is girl.
They have like a stat chart. It's like personality, cool. Personality, girl. Wow. Okay.
Is she the only female in the group
There might be like the sexy, seductive villain girl.
that doesn't say anything?
Yeah.
Like the Sundara type.
Yeah. you got that, and then you got your like ethnic best friend or whatever.
Check that box.
And he's like, yo, man,
Oh my god.
we need to disperse the darkness.
I was gonna say something, but oh god.
And the music is a high octane rock soundtrack.
Yes, it's just like Aerosmith's Rock and Roller Coaster the whole time.
Without any variance. There's no it's just pumped up rock the whole time. You got a sad scene, you got the rock blasting in the back. Like it's some tragic scene, and like the girl character's dying, and he's like, no, the darkness can't take you. Yeah.
It's like the Doom soundtrack going on in the background. Oh, God.
Like you're eating dinner with your friends or recovering HP, and you're like,
That's you slooping up the noodles.
the highest guitar solo
Yeah,
ever.
Just shred metal there. Wow.
Okay.
No. Susan.
so I said the mechanics is a vanilla RPG. It looks like someone made all the borders and effects in RPG Maker with no variance or effort to make things different from the original Final Fantasy. So everything looks like it was produced like on the NES in terms of like graphical quality.
Wow.
Well, except for the
And this is a
characters.
AAA game.
But
Except for the
this-
characters, yeah.
the characters are
They're still
cardboard cutouts,
cardboard.
but like the actual like menus and like the UI looks like it was like Windows 97 style or something like that. And the sound effects sound awful too. But the music is like top grade, like quality. It's just blaring
It's
rock
full
soundtrack.
on metal.
Yeah, just blasting the whole time.
Just death metal the whole way through
Um,
of this 75-hour long game.
Exactly. And then the game is restricted to solely save points, and there's only 5 save points in the whole game.
Wow.
So there's no auto saving. There's no
Every 25 hours.
There's
Yep.
yeah,
Save point.
exactly.
Seems
There's
legit.
only you have to sit down and you gotta play the game and you gotta get to that save point. If you die between any point between like not saving, like if you go the whole like first time like up to the like 20-hour mark and you haven't reached the save point and you die, well, tough luck. You gotta play the beginning of the game again. That's what it means.
No
to live in this
checkpoints
world.
either.
No
No
checkpoints. No,
checkpoints,
it
just
keeps
save
track.
points.
If you go AFK for 2 minutes, it kicks you to the
Oh my
menu
gosh.
screen.
Just like GTA Online, they just kick you after about 5
And
minutes.
if you want to get the best achievement in the game, you have to beat the game with no save points.
No saving. One way,
Wow.
all the way.
And there's no fast travel either. And this is a huge, awesome realm to explore. So there's no fast travel and there's no run button. Remember when Pokemon didn't give you the running shoes? Well, we're taking it back to that, the good old days. So it's all just walking. It's just, there's no ships, there's no flying vehicles to speed up travel. It's just your character walks.
Okay. Now, how big's the map?
It's expansive. It's like you want to think of
With those graphics,
Grand
you can
Theft
make
Auto.
it as big as it can be.
Grand Theft Auto, but
Think Grand
walking.
Theft Auto, but think about 10 times bigger
No,
than that.
it's randomly generated world.
It's randomly
my gosh.
generated.
Yeah, so
you got
it's infinitely
beautiful
big.
NPCs that have their great dialogue. They're like, "Hi,
It's infinitely
you
big,
want
but
some
it-
peaches? I will do that for you if you want, but you must give me 5 quadrillion Goomrats."
Wow, that's a lot of Goom Rocks.
And then you're like, "How about I give you a brick instead?" And then he's like, "Maybe next time."
Well, at least he turns you down appropriately, I guess. Okay, what else we got?
And so the next thing we got is
I don't even know where you're at in that piece of paper.
oh yeah, I forgot. There's of course also the mascot character in the group
Oh,
who is
okay.
like some cute animal thing.
Mhm.
But not a teddy bear or a cat.
But no, not a teddy bear thing. It's like it's a light bulb. That's the mascot character for the
Got it.
game with the flashlights and stuff.
That makes sense.
It's
That
got
makes sense.
it's a little light bulb. I'll draw
Does it
it,
look like Clippy,
and
Oh.
it's
but
got
a light
like
bulb?
big eyes. Of course, it's beautiful. It's got
Wait, I
shiny-
thought you didn't like ones with big eyes.
Right, this is what he's saying.
and then it's illuminating light, and it's like, "Hi, I'm Lighty, and I'm here to brighten your day."
Oh, are you gonna show the camera? I don't know if there's a. It's
There's-
right there.
There's Lighty, the mascot character. He dies in the 3rd act.
Wow, spoiler!
Wow,
Good
yeah.
grief. Now
But
I'll
he
never
gets
play
brought
the game.
back. He gets brought back.
Oh, okay.
though,
Well, that's
so it's
spoiler
all
too.
good.
You could have left it there.
Well, I mean, it's a game where there's no lives at risk. So,
Oh, okay.
and so the title of this magnificent game is Legacy of the Grand World: Fall of the Empire of Shadows.
Oh my gosh. Your game would be in the same section as my game. You know where that'd be? In the $5 discount bin. All right. Is that all you got?
That's the end of my game. I
Okay.
don't want to spoil the ending. It's-
Okay. David, what do we got? What's that actually finished a lot about where I wanted to finish. Okay, so you got pretty good amount of time to do yours.
Yeah.
Are you still just kind of taking in what he said so far?
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna follow that,
I know. I mean,
but
the soundtrack sounds awesome.
It's probably the best part of the game.
The main character's brother dies. I think I've played this game. The main character's brother dies halfway in the game.
yeah.
But during that scene, it's Slipknot is a special guest in this.
They just show up.
Yeah, they're just in the background.
Yeah,
they're like,
start
It's like Kiss Save Santa Claus. It's like their Slipknot's just in the background. They don't play any music. They're
They're
just
just
there.
there. They're just there. You know, just so to advertise on the game featuring Slipknot.
It's just on the box cover. You don't know when they're gonna show up. But
They're just in the background.
you're like, oh man, they're gonna be in the game, and then it turns out they're just standing there.
They
No,
don't
no,
have
no,
any
no.
dialogue,
Like, just
no
that.
dialogue.
It's just
They don't announce it. They don't acknowledge
no,
them.
no, no.
They're just there.
They just take a still from one of their music videos. And
They're
they
just all
and they
standing there.
just paste
Yeah,
it
they
in the
paste
back.
it.
Yeah.
It's just cover art and just put it in the background. Okay. Go ahead with yours.
All right. So mine's not quite as in depth as that. Mine's more like
I'm glad I
Ryan
went
with
first.
like bullet points.
Glad I went first.
My genre, no surprise, also would have been a JRPG.
Great.
There's a theme going on
I
here.
thought you liked JRPGs.
I do, but when they're done bad,
Yeah,
they're
there's
terrible.
like
Okay,
it's
okay.
very easy to have a bunch of tropes for a JRPG
Mhm.
to make it like cringy.
So for me, it would also be a JRPG. I don't like the cliche, like your character is Neo. I am the chosen one. You know,
You
save
can
the
control
world.
the world.
Yeah, I don't like that. Especially like unless there's like some like legitimate like excuse for it. No, I can't do it. Like yeah, even though I love Skyrim, that part of it I don't like. Just like out of the gate. Oh,
You're
it's
the
spoke
Dragonborn.
to you. You're the Dragonborn. And I'm like, God.
Already?
damn it.
Already that
Yeah.
person?
So that's probably why I always did whenever I play Skyrim. and I'm playing it unmodded, so I have to be the Dragonborn because I like to play it where I'm not.
Yeah.
I always do the Dragonborn quest up to a point, and then I stop. I always do Dragonborn quest right up until you go to Esbern, who's the old guy, after you meet Delphine, and then they go.
I don't know any of this character.
And the quest is where you go to the temple in the mountains, and that's just where I cut it off. I cut it off at that because that's when at that point in the story is when dragons show up more in the game.
Okay.
Because if you don't get to that point, they're very rare.
Okay.
So I always go up to that point in the story, and then I just stop. I just
seems
stop.
like a perfect time to do that.
Mechanics would have to be a turn-based RPG strategy. With all it was nothing but fetch quests.
Wow.
Really
so it's
long
just Final Fantasy X?
fetch quests from point A to point B, and it's all like tile turn-based.
Wow. Okay. So
Fetch
like
quest.
XCOM tile based.
I would say more. Oh, I mean, yeah, because I guess you say XCOM, Fire Emblem, that kind of
Okay.
Final Fantasy Tactics, that kind of. Those put me to sleep. For music, it would have to be slow.
No,
Pumping
You up the whole time.
As much as that would bug me, for me, my biggest thing that I have with games is that if I'm not into a game, I will literally just fall asleep playing it. So for me, it's like if I don't get tired or if I don't get bored to where I literally just fall asleep playing the game,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is all right. And like slow music all the time will put me to sleep. I think like I Am Setsuna is a perfect example. I know I've talked to you guys about it before, but I Am Setsuna just has a single piano. Yeah. That's the whole game's background music. Now it's not like one song. Like there's multiple songs.
It's just one note. Din, din,
yeah.
So it's not like my full rock metal soundtrack. It's just
it's not
piano.
the sounds of the apocalypse.
That should have been the name of my game. Sound of the Apocalypse.
No, that would have been cool though. Everyone would buy a game called Sound of the Apocalypse.
No, but like I Am Setsuna, it sounds like it's just like you're playing a game to a lullaby the whole time. Now the music is gorgeous and it's great, but it puts me to sleep, especially in the slow moments of the game. And so, a turn-based strategy with a bunch of fetch quests. With slow music in the background,
really
I am out. I'm out cold, especially if after I did.
So this game,
work.
you've fallen asleep about 10 minutes into the game so far.
Mm-hmm. So it'd be slow. Characters would be. I can't read my own handwriting.
I can't read Quinn's handwriting.
Like
this actually looks like a storyboard pitch.
Like the super like upbeat, cheerful characters who are always positive drive me nuts. Characters like Vanille and Waka come to mind. I can't stand them.
But if you have
the
slow
silent,
music,
no,
upbeat characters.
No, but here's the thing: you have slow music, you have the upbeat characters, and then you have like your silent protagonists.
Nice.
And no,
classy character.
They're just two of them are just laughing and having a good old time. I'm falling asleep. The silent protagonist is just staring at everybody.
Staring like the pop idols.
Just staring at everybody. And then the title of my game would be Dreams Awakening.
Dreams Awakening. See, that's an actual title of a game. Yours is like the opening act of your game.
Like Legacy of the Grand World, Fall of the Empire of Shadows?
Those are like four titles of a game in one.
No, that's just chapter one.
Yeah,
this is just the first like entry of the game series.
Well, yeah, because Sound of the Apocalypse is the rhythm-based spin-off.
Yeah, because the natural.
No, it's called Legacy of the Grand.
No,
it's called Legacy of the Grand World, Fall of the Empire Shadows, Dance of the Apocalypse.
Dance of the Apocalypse.
Dance of the Apocalypse.
Oh
yeah,
my god.
Because this is just episode 1. Episode 2 would be Legacy of the Grand World, Fall of the Empire of the Sunrise.
Yeah, it's just a one-word change.
Oh yeah, I realized that my game does have voice acting, and it's great. It's like top-notch voice acting.
It's gonna win awards.
But
that's the only category you're nominated for.
But the audio mixing is so awful between the voice acting and mixing, and then you can't change it. So half the time it sounds like this. whoa,
And then
whoa,
over the
and
top of
then-
that is dun 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 dun.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like an actual full on conversation, but you can't hear it because there's so much like dun 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 dun. Oh my gosh. Any closing statements to that?
I wouldn't play this.
Would you play
of
any?
these.
Okay, how about this?
If I had to play,
How about yeah, let's do this. Out of the games, let's vote.
yeah.
Which one are we publishing for Primal Target? What is the first game
Out of
that we get to publish?
Out
Are
of
we
Primal-
publishing? What is your game?
the put you to sleep game? Dreams Awakening.
Dreams Awakening. Yours is a book, and mine is called Nighttime Journey. Almost looks like Nighttime Tummy, but Nighttime Journey is the name of the game. So Nighttime Journey, whatever the hell this is, or Dreams Awakening.
Empire of Shadows.
What would you publish?
Oh man, I feel like Quinn's would be like a cult hit.
Yeah.
I feel like ours would just be passed, and people would love just to play Quinn's just to say that they've played it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what.
That's
it
the
would
one
do.
that they made T-shirts of, and they want a second one, but they know the developer's out of business because they went and made that game. But your game actually doesn't sell any games like at launch, but GameStop sells a lot of them, so you make $0
Yeah.
off of that.
It's just it's all pirated.
Yeah.
It's all pirated.
Which one would you publish of ours?
So I wouldn't have to play it. I would just have to publish it.
What
which
game
one-
are we publishing? We're putting
which person-
all of our eggs in a basket to try
Yeah.
and
Make
publish.
money
Make
off
a
of?
game, yeah. So we were gonna publish a game
Yeah.
to become a game publishing studio. Which of these games would we publish?
Well, David's is too boring to make any money off of.
Yeah.
Like it's just
That's the point.
That's the point. Yeah. It's
I
just-
think you.
I don't think like anyone, and it wouldn't get a lot of hate. It would just be like people would play it and they'd be like they'd forget about it the next day.
Yeah.
Did you play that Dreams Awakening game?
Yeah.
What?
What's the? Oh yeah, I bought that like 6 months ago.
I play
just
that one
stopped
to put me
playing.
to sleep because on nights I can't sleep. I just put it on and I go.
You just
and then
turn
I'm
it
out.
on. You don't even
Yeah.
like. You just hit the pause
Hit the
menu.
title screen.
I mean, the music's calm.
Yeah, the music. Yeah. That's the only. Yeah, that's the only like redeeming quality. Is the music is nice, but it's like I put my kids to sleep with that.
I mean, my kids love the soundtrack.
What game would we publishing?
Let me go over yours real quick.
JRPG, Silent Pro Tag, long, no music sections, bad voice acting, subtitled but with no voice acting, so like the main character.
Oh no! I
Inventory
forget it. I forgot
management.
about your little inventory thing.
Inventory
You need
management.
You need 100 like inventory slots to even beat the game.
Yeah, that remember you could. It's like a 165-hour game, so you're fine.
My game's a lot fairer.
You voted for your own game.
I'm voting for my own game.
Okay.
Alright.
I'd have to vote for Quinn's game too.
I've-
So in actuality, you lost because
Yeah, you
I
made
think
the
David
best, worst
won.
game.
Yeah, David won with the worst game because I would say that I would never even look at.
Yeah.
Yours would stay on the shelf and I
Yeah.
would never pick
I
it
feel
up.
like Quinn's would sell just because I feel like
Yeah,
I bet like there would be one YouTuber who would pick up, be like, "This game is ridiculous."
Yeah.
Yeah, mine
Millions
would-
of people would view it, and then it
people
would
dress
become
up. People dress up like this at PAX and Comic Con.
Yeah.
Mine crossed
Yeah.
the border. It went so bad it's so
Yeah,
good.
it's
Yeah.
really good. You finally found it.
It
Yeah.
crossed the border. It went too far.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you vote in the comment section below which game you think is the best, worst game that we made. So far, David won the worst game,
Yeah.
and Quinn won the best of the worst, the
one
game that we would
play.
actually play.
we would publish, and let us know what you would make. Down below.
Exactly. But we're moving on to our third and final topic.
I gotta calm down.
David, what are we talking about for our last topic?
This is gonna be depressing.
Great. We just had such an uplifting moment.
I mean,
That's why we saved this one for the middle. The last one for the middle.
so we're kind of combining two ideas here.
Yeah.
We're combining just sort of I want to say like not favorable consumer I guess things that are happening and game pricing, because right now a lot of talk is going on about indie game prices. Have you seen all this yet? A lot of people, because I wanted to talk. You mentioning game prices reminded me of this because this has been happening in like the past week.
So do we want the main topic to be game prices?
I think
And then
so.
category what you were going to
Yeah,
talk about?
I
Okay,
feel like
all right.
because I feel like there's a bunch of right now. There's a lot of shady stuff going on with games, and I think it kind of ties into game prices.
Okay.
'Kay?
So we'll kick it off with the game
We'll kick
prices.
off with the
and
game
then-
prices. We'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about the shady stuff that I think developers are doing to make up for that. Because the thing is that you have to realize is the video game industry is one of those industries that hasn't really been affected by inflation.
Yeah.
Okay, prices of games 20 years ago were $60. Games nowadays are still $60. Okay,
Okay.
and most prices on everything else has gone up. So like if we're going to count inflation and all that, I'm just ballparking off the top of my head. We really should be paying about $75, maybe $80 for these games. If it stayed on the current like inflation trends that have happened over
Now, when
the
you
few
say
decades.
inflation, are you saying the U.S. dollar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm talking the U.S. dollar.
Okay.
I know like in other countries like Australia, games are already like 100,
Yeah, there's, like-
like
yeah, I
120
think you
U.S. or not U.S. dollars, but like 120
I
like
think like when
Australian
Tony Hawk
bucks.
Pro Skater 5 came out, it was like an $80 game.
Well, I know
in
I know a
Australia.
$60 game here is like double that in Australia. It's like over $100 in Australian dollars. I don't know how the inflation
Australian
rate.
money.
I don't know how
That monopoly
how-
money
yeah.
you call the
We'll call it
currency.
Outback money.
So like
Outback money.
Outback bucks.
Outback bucks, yeah.
NATO, put
I-
in the comment section below what you
I-
guys call your stuff.
Nah, I'm not trying to like dig on Australia. Or anything
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that, but I know
We're not
I
either.
know I know when people complain about video game prices. I know a lot of it comes from Australia.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And from Brazil because their games in those two countries are.
Isn't
are
it like
super
import
expensive.
rates on Brazil?
I think
is, like,
Brazil's
really
more
bad.
import
Yeah.
rates, yeah. But I know with Australia has something to do with just the inflation.
Mhm.
But that hasn't really hit us, and so these games you have to I understand that these games that they're spending, hundreds of millions of dollars. Like we'll use just GTA because we have like the best stats, I guess, for that. They
Okay.
spent like what between $300 and $400 million
It's something ridiculous.
on
Yeah.
GTA,
And then they made it all back within
and they made
like,
it. They made it
less
all
than 5
yeah,
hours.
Yeah, but you have to realize that's that's like more money that's spent on movies.
Yeah. You want me to look up like
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I'll look up Avengers.
Yeah, just
So
look up,
Avengers
look up,
and GTA.
yeah, look at the first Avengers because that came out around when GTA did, right? GTA 5, the first Avengers movie, I think. Just kind of compare to their budgets. But yeah, it's one of those things that I think because video games haven't really gone up in price with everything else, is why they're doing these kind of
So Avengers
the very first one.
estimated budget was $220 million.
Okay.
Okay.
U.S. dollars.
Yes. Now I'm gonna look up GTA.
Okay.
But go on.
And so I think that's where you see all of these, I don't want to say shady business practices, but money grabbing business practices, which is what I was wanting to talk about that's going on. Like you mentioned the Shadow of War single player microtransactions. And for me, it was like just this week, as of recording. I know it's going to come out later in the month, but when we recorded this is the week Madden 18 gets launched, and I thought it was very shady that on Tuesdays are normally when the new games come out, unless you're Nintendo. Nintendo always does Friday releases.
Okay. So going back to this, sorry to interrupt
Yeah,
again.
that's fine.
So, like I said, Avengers $220 million, right?
Yeah.
It said the art director Aaron Garbett placed the sum of the astonishing roughly $265 million. So $265 million to make GTA, $220 million to make Avengers.
Yeah. And you got to realize that like these games are still only costing us $60.
Yeah.
And you think about it, it's because games didn't cost that much back when we were still paying $60 for them. Like, do you think you could do a quick search and look up Mario 64?
Okay.
That game just turned, is over 2 decades old. And this was back as, this was a $60 game when it came out. But it also goes into, I think, to make up for those costs, because for that money they're losing from not dealing with the inflation rates. That's why we're seeing a lot more of these so-called money-grabbing practices.
Oh,
So-
actually, so this is Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
Somebody on GameFAQs did in 1980. If the game cost $59.99 to $69.99, that would be to now $170
Yeah.
to $198 in 2013's money.
Yeah.
Look up the inflation calculator.
Yeah.
So there you go. I don't
Yeah.
know about 64, but that pretty much explains that question right there.
Yeah, so that's I think is why we're seeing a lot more of these
ridiculous.
microtransactions. Yeah, that's why I think. Yeah, that's why I'm because they're like I said, they're one of the few industries that just haven't kept up with it because everybody just expects them to be at that price point. Which I gotta say, that's good for them.
Yeah.
That's why when I see all these microtransactions in games, I personally don't get upset because most of the time they're optional.
Yeah.
They're just optional. You don't have to partake in them. But I do understand why people get upset, especially when a lot of people talking about the Shadow of War one, because it's basically you're basically paying to do less work.
Yeah, it's
You're
just
paying to
loot
skip
boxes to get gold that you will buy
Or you
more army
You get
stuff.
orc characters
Yes.
and things like that. You can get them sooner.
And the game is single player,
Yeah.
not multiplayer. So you can't even show off these things. You just
actually,
have
I
them.
think you can compare armies with other players.
Well, you can't compete against them.
No, but
So
you
look at what I got.
Yeah,
That's
it's
all you got.
basically
Like my car.
yeah.
in the Lord of the Rings game. If you get a car in Lord of the Rings, like I would be impressed. that would impress me.
But
The
But-
new Lamborghini 2019
But
in Shadow
Actually,
of
it'd be
War.
like 1786 or something.
but that's why I think we're seeing a lot more of those practices now, and especially when it comes to games like GTA 5 where you can get the shark cards, or with Overwatch where you get loot boxes, and also in games like Rainbow Six Siege. Like to me, those games get a pass because even though they have microtransactions in them, the DLC is free.
Yeah.
You're not paying anything else, and everything you're paying for is optional.
Yes.
It doesn't affect the game.
Yeah.
The Shadow of War one, I completely understand why people are getting upset about because you're basically paying it. You don't get much more, I guess, pay to win than that, but it's a single player game.
Yeah.
So that's why to me it doesn't I understand why they're doing it because they're trying to make as much money as possible because they're not.
Yeah, and and the thing is that's where all these companies are going to have to go down. I mean, Monolith is probably not the group that decided this.
Oh no,
It's
I'm sure
probably-
it's Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
it's
it's
got to be
definitely
Warner.
Warner
It's Warner Brothers
Because
they
after Batman,
No,
you
they did
kinda
the
have
same
to
thing
go-
with Batman.
Oh, really?
No, I mean the Arkham Knight games. How many skins can you buy? How many?
That's true.
How many little?
But see, that's cosmetic
AR,
stuff. That's
It's
cosmetic.
all cosmetic. Yeah.
This is game altering though. This is pay to win. This
No, yeah,
is the actual definition of pay to win.
Yeah.
It's like you're playing this game so you
To
don't
beat
have
it
to play
quicker.
the game
Yeah,
longer. But I don't know.
I
Like
see. If it was multiplayer, I would be up in arms with everybody else. But since it's single player, I understand. I understand why people are upset, but I don't understand why people are taking at it so negatively when it's something for a single player game that you don't have to participate in. Like you're not playing. It's not like you're purchasing an advantage against somebody else. Do you really need? It's potty time right now for the kitty cat.
great.
Can you hear it?
I heard something. I was
All
like,
right.
what was that?
So for me, because it's since it's single player only, like I'm not personally upset by it, but I get why people are.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing is the only negative I see from it is seeing more companies do it, because all it takes is one person to do it, one person to get away with it, and then it becomes the standard. And that kind of brings me back to what I started saying about Madden. Madden this week when we recorded this just launched. So
Yeah,
this
is
is-
it's
Yeah,
right
this
now still August.
yeah,
but
it's still like
yeah.
we still have like a week left of August. Madden just came out this week, and on Tuesday. Normally that's when new games come out, or on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Uh,
Traditionally in America,
Yeah,
that's what it
in America, games come out on Tuesdays. We need a candle. No,
Do I need to
we
get something?
A candle.
Cut.
Right there.
While I'm up, does anyone need anything
No,
to drink?
but it's by the TV. Do you see the candle on the lighter?
I'm good.
Oh God. Oh Jesus Christ.
Where, oh, here.
Yeah, by the TV candle too. Yep. I can't breathe.
See?
Oh God damn it, Bella.
Okay.
Break. I need to move, Quinn.
Oh, okay. Oh God.
You gotta watch out. He's like all trapped back there. I'm like, oh, this is on camera.
Oh.
I might leave it in.
Go ahead.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back.
We're back after the catastrophe.
Wow.
We're back.
Puns.
Wow.
I see you've been hanging out with Morgana lately.
Yeah,
What?
technically, I guess I have.
All right. My watch is a little off on how much this topic has gone on for. But anyway, I can't even really remember what we were talking
I
about.
think I was talking about Madden.
Okay.
So
we were
look at
talking
that.
about
What's up,
Madden.
Madden came out this week, so it kind of dates this episode of when we recorded this. But Madden came out. Normally, video game releases are on Tuesdays. Okay?
Yes.
This Tuesday, the EA only released the greatest of all time edition, the $80 version of the game.
Yep.
And if you want the regular version, you have to wait till Friday. So
Okay.
if you want to pay it or play it early, you got to fork over 20 extra bucks. And I think that's ridiculous.
Okay.
And I'm afraid that doing this, I feel like they're going to do this with FIFA now. They're probably going to do it with the NHL. They're probably going to, and then I'm also afraid other developers are going to do it. 2K will do it with their NBA series.
Now to jump in,
Yeah.
I have done this before. I have purchased games to play it early. Gears of War was one of those, where if you pre-ordered the game, you got it on Friday, and then it was released to every
Right.
and you had to pay for the Ultimate Edition.
Right.
But in that process, you got a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
If you pre-ordered, for instance, Gears of War, Microsoft is very well known of doing this. They've done that. They're going to do it with Forza 6. But with Gears was if you pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition, you got the PC version and the Xbox version, and exclusive skins to you got Zombie Dom and a couple like a Nerf shotgun. It looks like a Nerf shotgun. It's like toy shotgun. You got all that, and you got it 4 days early, and that is an online game.
Right.
And you got that on Friday, and then on that Tuesday, the game would be released.
Right.
Like normal.
I think they did that with
They also did it with
Andromeda.
Horizon, Forza Horizon as well.
I feel like did Andromeda do that as well? I know they did.
I think
early
EA did it
access,
too, yeah.
But I think they did that with Andromeda as well because I remember playing it early.
So with that said, are you more angry with EA doing the Madden situation because you're not benefiting from it?
Yeah, you're not benefiting.
So if a company was to say
It's basically
you
saying-
get XYZ if you pre-order the Ultimate Edition of it.
It says that because it's like their greatest of all time is like their gold edition.
Yeah.
It says it comes with like $50 worth of in-game stuff.
But that's getting it regardless though.
Yeah.
So you're more of angry about you're not getting there's no benefit of doing this.
The only benefit to getting it early is you get that extra $50 of in-game crap
Yeah.
that you would buy through microtransactions in the game. I think it's for like what do they call it, the Ultimate Team.
Yeah, Madden Ultimate
stuff.
Team.
Yeah, it's like $50 worth of stuff for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like having people like, I think it's just wrong to say, hey, if you want to play this game right now, when the game like really should have been released.
Yeah.
Because they're saying, oh, Madden's out on Tuesday. No, the $80 version of Madden's out on Tuesday. The $60 version of Madden's out on Friday.
Okay.
I've had a couple, people at work, like, where's the $60 version? I'm like, it comes out on Friday. I'm like, well, that's dumb. I'm like, yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more of on the side of in this. I don't know. I get where you're coming from because the only reason why I'm a little bit defending it is because I've done it.
Yeah, so have I. I've done it too.
Yeah, I do see where
I don't doesn't mean I still don't like it. I still think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, because like with the Madden edition, with the greatest of all time edition, where you're not getting really any benefit, and you can buy the GOAT edition anytime.
Right.
Like you can buy that at any time. It's just now you're getting it early. So
see, for me to have been early, you would have had it available to you not this Tuesday but the previous Friday.
So you're more of angry about the day situation.
I think it's messed up that because video games other than Nintendo are Tuesday releases.
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, like
Most
Call
of
of
the
Duty
time.
came out
That's 'cause
Friday. Titanfall came out
yeah,
on a Friday.
Yeah, I know.
Battlefield
There's
1 came
some-
out on a Friday. Yeah, but there's
There
expectations.
are
Yeah.
some exceptions.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I get what you're
I
saying.
just I feel like if they wanted to do, your exclusive early release for a game, they should have done that on Friday and then do like release the base game on the traditional game release day.
Okay.
So if it was that way, I probably would have been I still would have thought it was dumb and ridiculous, especially since it's like the physical copy and all that. If it was like a digital and people were doing it digitally, I don't think that bothers me. I think it's very misleading to just your average non-gaming consumer.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, and like going into the topic of like of the games and like of the money situation of where is it worth the game to be in the the $60 range or the $80 range to get $50 worth of content,
$50 of in-game
currency that
stuff.
you would never really need unless you're playing online.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's because like for me, games are weirdly priced. Like games when it comes down to The Witcher, it's like that game to me that could be $80 and make sense. But in GTA, $80 that makes sense.
They could get away with that too.
Yeah,
is the thing they could totally just decide to do that and get
But-
away with it.
But when you go to games like for example, a game that I like, Overwatch, I don't think Overwatch is worth $60. I think that was $40 at best, which now it is. I think now
it's 50.
it's 50. Okay, 50 because at 49
For the console version, it's
Yeah.
50.
Yeah.
For a physical disc console version, it's 50.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is on the stores on the digital side.
Yeah. But like the to me, I feel like that's a $40 game. I understand there's free updates, there's free everything, but it does one thing. It's all the online. There's nothing really to it. Everything else is meta.
Yeah.
And
No,
like,
I completely agree. I completely understand why they did the $40 and the $60 price range for PC. I wish they did the same thing for console.
because I understand when it comes down to that, where it's like cosmetic wise, that's fine. Overwatch, I feel, did it in a way where they're going to release everything for free all the time for the existence of the game, which the game will probably exist for another like 5 years.
Decade. It's probably going to be like
I mean, PC players will probably play it for a decade. Console players, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But games like Red Dead Redemption 2 that's coming out, I feel like if that was $80, I'd be totally fine with it. There are some indie games that I would even say like, oh wow, this is $20. I spent $20 on this game.
Speaking of indie games, there's a lot of debate going on right now. At the time of this recording, people are now starting to think that indie games should start to cost more.
Now you were
because
talking
most-
about this a little bit more. Can you go a little
So
bit?
apparently, I don't remember the names. I don't remember the developers.
You don't-
who saying it.
you don't have to.
But they were basically there are some indie creators out there, with teams, small teams. It has to do with the whole debate right now going on about how We Happy Few is now going AAA.
I mean, yeah.
And how, because they got their 2K is now publishing. Is it 2K? Yeah, 2K is now.
That's good for them.
It's now going from a $30 indie game to a $60 retail AAA backed by 2K. It's the
Okay.
same thing that people are saying now with Ark Survival. Now that Ark is becoming a AAA game, it's now
Okay.
going from 30 to 60. And even when what's the game that just came out? It just came out.
Agents of Mayhem.
No. You're playing as that Viking girl. Senua something.
A Viking girl.
Yeah, it's this. It just came out. You're playing as this like Viking girl with she has voices. She has like a mental disorder. Voices in her head.
That's Hellblade.
Hellblade.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice.
I don't know,
something
but
like that.
it's from the creators of
Ninja Theory.
Heavenly Sword.
It's the Ninja Theory guys, right?
I don't know. I
don't
know it's the
remember.
creators of Heavenly Sword, and they lost the licensing for it or something like that, or so that's a
But,
new development team making Hellblade. Which,
But
but it has nothing to do with the last.
But people are bringing that one up because that game is like a $30 game. I think it's a $30 or $40 game, made by an indie developer, but it looks and plays like a AAA game.
Okay.
Okay, which is
I
good for
mean,
them.
have you played We Happy Few? Because that looks and plays like a BioShock game. So
Well, no, that's the thing though. Is people were a little upset because it looked like a BioShock game, but in the preview, it was more like a survival resource management type game.
Well, yeah, because
but
it was
now,
a demo.
but now since 2K's picked up, they're going more towards a BioShock feel with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're going back to that. Apparently, this is just rumor. Like this is all somewhat
it's,
new.
Believe me, like We Happy Few
But,
has changed the theme of what they've been doing, like of what people have played. Because like you could buy it on PC for early access, and that was more of like, oh, collect the pill, take the pill, make sure you're this way, that way.
The thing is,
and then in the revamped like console one, it did look like BioShock, and then it was like I guess changed back. Or something
no.
like
In terms of the art style, yeah, but in terms of gameplay, it was not very BioShock-y.
yeah.
It
I thought
it didn't
was
look
kinda
like
feeling
it looks like one. Like it looked like that trailer, like the announcement trailer from a few years ago, but it didn't play like it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's what people were kind of like scratching their heads about. They had this one expectation for it that I think everybody had. We're like, oh sweet, this is gonna be the next BioShock type game, but it wasn't. It was more like a Dying Light with like a BioShock look to it. I think I could be wrong in that analogy. I haven't played Dying Light, but I know what it is.
Yeah, it's open world zombie thing. Anyway,
but that debate though has started where should indie games still be in that $10 to $20 price range when a lot of them aren't really recouping anything after they've published their games. Now there are the exceptions, the Minecrafts, the what else is there? What's that game called? I can't remember what it's called.
Roblox. Warframe.
I
don't know.
It's coming to PlayStation.
Paragon.
No, it's been on PlayStation. It's a little indie game that's supposed to be like a spiritual. I think it's supposed to be a spiritual successor to the Homebound game.
I have no idea.
It's called is it Mother or something?
It's
You know what I'm talking about?
a spiritual successor to Earthbound.
Is it Earthbound that I'm thinking of?
That's
I don't remember
what the name of the game is, but
Oh, I don't remember.
a spiritual.
If
I don't
anything,
know.
that
Coming to
game would
what?
come to Nintendo.
I can't. It's bugging me. I can't remember what it's
Okay,
called. It's this
but
little indie game.
because my thing is like with games that are priced at it, and it's weird because indie games and mobile games get a lot of weird looks. It's kind of like you can look at a video game, and this is like in my mind. For example, you look at a video game that's $60, right? But then you look at a bag of potato chips that's $3.95, and you're like, that's an expensive bag of potato chips. But in actuality, if you look at a $30 game, you're like, oh, that's pretty cheap. That's a pretty good price for the game. And then when you look at a bag of potato chips that's $3.95, when bag of Doritos is $2, you're like, well, that's an expensive bag of chips. I'm gonna buy the $2. Why is that in the mental mentality? It's kind of like with mobile games. Like when Mario Run came out, it's like $10, right? Mm-hmm. But people looked at it was like, $10. I don't know about that. Or there's another game on there. I think there's even a Final Fantasy on there that's like $60 or something like that. And obviously people are not going to look at it. But why do you if you're a Final Fantasy fan, why do you look at that as like, I don't want that? But you look at because I think even I want to say like Super Meat Boy is even on mobile. I know Limbo is. But Limbo is like $5.99 on mobile. And it's like, that's a fantastic game. But a lot of people are going to go look at $5.99. I don't want that. I'll buy Angry Birds for $1. And even then, people are still hesitant to buy $1 game. So, I think it's all of the way that the game is thrown out there. If it's a AAA game and you see it's $60, in your mind, you're like going, okay, this is $60. In my mind, this should be $60 worth of a game. If an indie developer comes out, so let's say We Happy Few comes out, and it still looks like a $30 game. Still looks, feels, ends in like 10 hours. If We Happy Few ended in 10 hours and you spent $60 on that game, then I would say that that's a big flat disappointment.
Oh,
right
when
there.
it comes to playtime for your dollar.
Yeah, I think
No,
I
yeah,
think that's
I agree with that.
if We Happy Few comes out and we're like, and they go, nope, it's a 30-hour campaign,
Yeah.
30 to 40-hour campaign, then full on, yeah, they do deserve the $60 price tag. But if they're coming out and they're still gonna make a 10, like Ark Survival, first off, that game is utter trash. I don't understand why the game has this cult following behind it. I've played it. We've played it on the channel. It looks like garbage. And the fact that it is gone from so long and now is getting picked up. There are so many other games that could have gotten picked up from a major AAA like company or even AA company. Like, I don't understand. I guess it would make more sense that AAA company would pick it up. But still, the fact that that Ark got picked, when I saw at our store that we had a sign that said the
Yeah, it
game
was
is no longer
delayed.
being released on this day. I've never seen that before.
Me
And it's
either.
probably because they're changing the box art of it to put the new logo on it. And I'm like, this is stupid because that game does not deserve what it needs to do. You're saying that this, like, PUBG to me is like, I think it's like $30.
Something like
That
yeah.
that is a $30 game because there's no campaign,
Right.
but it's what you can do in the game and how much replayability is. Ark Survival is, I guess, like 3D fat Minecraft. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand what the hell you're supposed to do in the game. And there's dinosaurs roaming around. You
There-
can
there-
crap in the game. The crap really represents the game. Like, I don't understand what is so.
There are like objectives and bosses.
I mean, like,
just like Minecraft, right?
yeah,
You go
exactly, just like
around-
Minecraft.
Like you travel around and you look for these artifacts, and when you collect all the artifacts, you can summon like the world's boss.
Yeah, because
to
you have like
fight it.
that's the one that has like the gem in the wrist thing. Yeah, I just don't get
I mean,
how a
it's not
game
much-
like that.
It's really not much different than Minecraft in like Minecraft's early stages. of
But my thing
development.
is Minecraft is still like $25.
yeah,
So it's like if you're putting this hunk of garbage in for $60 being picked up by a major publisher, I don't understand that. There are
Yeah.
many other
No, yeah,
indie developers.
yeah.
For example, like when like Super Meat Boy, I think you can pick up for like less than $10 now on PC. That game has so much replayability that you could, and there's so many levels that you're gonna get stuck on eventually. Like that game to me is at least $25, and games that have this replayability in a sense of fun, or I don't know, it just there are so many other independent developers that, I mean, I guess Super Meat Boy was kind of picked up by Microsoft, but still, like there's so many other people that deserve that, where there's these other companies that just get picked up for whatever the reason because they want to
Ark
make their
is
money.
super popular.
I don't understand that though, and like I don't
But
know
that's the
because
thing,
is
though.
there microtransactions in that game?
No,
Okay, I don't understand.
no, there's one, maybe two DLC packs for it.
Yeah, I don't know, and it's been in like development.
It's been in
for,
early
like,
access for like 2 years.
I feel like it's longer than that.
No,
like
it's been
for PC.
it's been in development longer than that, but it's been in early access for like 2 years.
Is that just for console? Because I feel like it's longer
No,
for PC.
no,
Okay, it might have been.
That's
that one.
just it's been on early access, I think, on the Xbox for about a year now.
And then they have this other Ark game, this like survival thing. Essentially, it's Hunger Games inside Ark, which eventually is like another game. They just copied it from another game.
Is it
but-
I think another one you're talking. One has like the arena in the
Yeah,
middle.
but that's the actual
game
game.
died out.
There's another. The Ark made a version of that game.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know, but like, I don't mind seeing indie developers getting. For example, like Cuphead is been in development for a very very long time. Microsoft's publishing it. That game to me, if it came out that it's going to be like $25, to me, I look at that art style and I go, yeah, that's worth $25. Like,
yeah, but
I'm
how much
looking
is
at
it
the
going
con-
to be?
I don't know. I think it's like $20 probably 40, maybe 40.
I don't know what they're going to
But my thing is like when you look at all of that's hand drawn,
Yeah.
and if the game looks like that and lasts for 10 hours, and they charge $25 for it, I'd say it's a good time. If it lasts longer than that, then fantastic.
What are you gonna do if it's 60?
If it's $60, I
Yeah.
would be so shocked. But like,
Yeah.
I
But would you be surprised?
I would be shocked because
you really would.
But if they say like the game is like 25 hours, 25 30 hours, and it's a $60 game, it looks like that, then I'd probably say yeah, that makes sense. But like, I don't know. At minimum, it's probably gonna be 40, and just because it's published by Microsoft, so they're probably gonna slap a $40 price tag on it. But I mean, I don't know. There's also multiplayer in it too, so it adds more replayability.
Oh, there's multiplayer. That's cool.
Yeah, I heard it's actually harder with multiplayer. I heard it's like the last time people played it, it was very difficult.
Yeah.
Because there's so many like things on the screen.
But yeah, because PUBG is going on Microsoft, and people are still thinking it's probably that they might come out on the PlayStation.
Oh yeah, it's like
rumored.
even
though it's being published for console by Microsoft.
Yeah, it's just the same thing that happened with Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's published by Microsoft, but Microsoft's been very lenient on the deciding, or is lenient the right word? On very like allowing of other consoles to play their own games. For example, Minecraft. Like they could have totally gave everyone the middle finger and just said Minecraft's Microsoft exclusive. This is our game. Goodbye.
Yeah, they could have. Do you know how bad that would have been for them?
If they would have, maybe, but after a while, if they would have just said PC players and console players are only, they could have even did PC players and console players are only getting, Xbox players are only getting updates. There's no more updates anymore for the other people, but they keep doing it, and they're even allowing Switch players to play with
which is
Xbox players. And Rise of the Tomb Raider just stayed on Xbox for a while. Then there was the exclusive VR thing with PlayStation that happened.
It was just it was one piece of DLC.
Yeah, but still, like that
piece of DLC was kind of boring, if I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, you played it?
Yeah, because I have it on. You still get the DLC. It's just not in VR.
Oh, okay.
On the Xbox.
Oh, okay.
It's just not in 3D.
Yeah, I don't know. It
was just a bunch. It was just a bunch of backstory crap.
Yeah.
It wasn't very. Yeah.
But in 3D.
But yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. Like who gets what and where do price tags get thrown, and I do think that DLC is a little bit cheap. I don't feel like, for example, like if Call of Duty announces, here's our first map pack that comes out, like our game's being released in November, first map pack, here's our 5 maps plus our zombie map, comes out in February. Then I question, why the hell did the map pack not be put in the game? Why was you made it already.
Like 2 months after the game came out?
Yeah. Well, why was it not in the game, period? Why was it not put in the game?
Probably because it wasn't done.
But if they're already announced it, like let's say it's done. They're just holding it for for February because they want $15. I understand.
EA does that did it with Battlefront. They do it with
I'm just using
games.
Call of Duty as an example.
I know,
but I'm just saying, like, when I see, I don't know, I'm a little bit more, when it comes down to maps and things like that, I question why was this not free and why was it not in the game in the first place?
I think maps nowadays should be free.
And then when it comes to story, I understand why that costs money. Because now I'm like,
there's more, in my opinion, there's more production in a story mode than just throwing a new map out there. Because you just have to you just have to design a level.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you out.
No, but that's what I mean.
Train of thought.
No, I wasn't. I was kind of done. You finished
okay.
up there.
Because I feel like we're getting to a turning point to where that's going to be the thing now. Because Halo 5, Rainbow Six Siege, Overwatch, those games, like those are
Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Star Wars Battlefront 2. They're all jumping on. The maps are free, but the DLC is free, ish. I mean, some of them do have payable DLC, but at least the maps are free. Because the maps, I think that's been the biggest fall especially with like the Battlefield games, is they make these really good maps, multiplayer maps and multiplayer modes, but it splits the community. And so when a new DLC would drop out, like back when I was playing Battlefield 4, Naval Strike would drop, and I had a lot of fun playing the Naval Strike maps. So like for the first month, I could find easily maps that were playing or servers that were playing those, and then about a month after that, people just go back to the vanilla maps because that's where the player base is, because not everybody buys it.
Quinn, what do you think? Like if Persona said we're coming out with like story DLC, do you feel more obligated to buy that DLC as opposed to here's Overwatch if you want the new 4 maps for $15, same price as whatever the story DLC is? Do you feel more obligated to buy the Overwatch one, or do you feel more obligated to buy Persona?
Persona, hands down, easily.
I'm the same way. I would prefer to purchase. I would definitely pick single player story content over multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like how do you feel about this the money situation, the money grubbing? Like, do you feel companies are more of fighting against us than fighting with us, or
in terms of like all the DLC options?
yeah, that, or maybe even like like for example the Street Fighter thing, because you're a fighting fan. When you found out that this was years ago, but like for example, when Street Fighter got caught with actually putting the characters in the game, but you had to pay to unlock them.
It was on disc DLC.
Yeah.
That is one of the dumbest things. Because if it's already on the game disc, then why do you have to pay for it? That means it was already made at the time.
Yeah. But see, that was my example with the Call of Duty thing. Like, it doesn't... I mean, we've already kind of nailed that one, but I'm just wondering, like, is it worth those companies doing
They did that with Mass Effect 2. They did that with 2 characters in Mass Effect 2. Zaid was a pre-order bonus, and Kasumi was a deluxe version bonus, or you could pay for them separately. If you wanted to buy them separately, they were like $5 or $10 a piece. If you didn't buy it, if you didn't pre-order, or if you didn't, now you can get. Now, if you go into the store, I think they're free because it's been years. But when it came out, Zaid, because you know who Zaid is. Did you not download him?
I don't know. I don't think I did.
You had to have gone in and have downloaded him.
I plowed right through those games.
He's in Mass Effect 2. He's the mercenary with like the messed up eye, yellow armor. He doesn't really talk much.
Yes,
he hangs out in like the garbage area.
And I didn't really like him that much. Right?
Yeah, he was a pre-order bonus, and then Kasumi was the Asian girl with the purple on her lip with the black hood.
I don't remember her.
She's one of my favorite characters in the whole series.
Maybe
she's hilarious. You might not have downloaded. No, if you didn't download and install her, she is not in the game.
Well, I got the deluxe, like the triple thing, whatever EA was selling. So I got all of the DLC,
so then,
but
then you might not have.
I may have not talked to her.
Okay.
I focused on some main aspects of that game.
well, if you download it, they kind of but back to the point. We're straying away here.
Yeah.
No, they were the same thing. Like, if you wanted those 2 characters, you had to pre-order, and you had to get when the game launched.
Yeah.
You had to pre-order, and you had to buy like some deluxe version to get both of them, or pay like $20 day one to get them. Sorry, continue.
So how are you feeling about this?
Well, I don't mind DLC or paying money. If I like the game, then I'm fine with paying money if they make like maps or additional story or whatever, because I know time and effort went into making that stuff. I don't know how I feel though about like the Shadow of Warfare or whatever game.
Shadow of Warfare. From Call of Duty comes Shadow of Warfare.
The one where it's like a single player game.
Blacker than Black Ops.
Buy like loot boxes or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the point of that is. Like, why not just make the DLC like an ultimate weapon in that case? Then you don't have to like get randomly genned loot boxes.
Well, apparently the stuff you can get in there is like supposed to be really good. And I think
you can buy them.
I think there might be a couple like weapons and gear that you can possibly only get. Now that I'm not sure. I'm not 100%. Don't quote me on that.
As far as I've read, it's just saving you time for grinding.
Right. To get orcs and build your army.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I'm pretty sure like that's all on Warner Brothers. I bet you Monolith that was not in their plan to do that. I bet you Warner
It
Brothers
doesn't
was
seem
like,
like something. They
well,
did.
I bet
Like,
Warner
it
Brothers
doesn't even
walked
seem
in.
like in there.
I bet you Warner Brothers, whatever person that goes in and talks to them and be like, you know what this game's missing that everybody's doing now?
Microtransactions.
Microtransactions, loot boxes.
Yeah.
Put them in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you've played the League.
Yeah.
You've dabbled in the Overwatch.
Yeah.
So you're not too far away from buying stuff that's cosmetic. But even with League of Legends, I mean, some of those characters you can't even get unless you really do buy Riot points because they're so astronomically like
High.
out of the price range.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's the newer characters that cost a lot, and that means I mean, they all the only things that will cost money are skins. Well, kind of to a point. They fix that more because there's like the crafting stuff now, so you can
I
unlock
don't even
skills.
understand League of Legends now.
You can unlock like skins that way if you get enough shards and blah blah blah. So they're making it more and more easier to get certain things without having to spend money. I haven't played it in a while, so I don't know exactly how it works. But you can get like 6,800. I think that's how much it is for the newly released characters.
Yeah, it used to be like 4,500 was like the most, and now it's like 68.
And that just it still takes a while, but you can do it. That would probably be like if you played every day for 2 weeks. I think you would have that amount. Maybe.
To get one,
Yeah, to
but
get
there's
one,
like
yeah.
6 characters. now
Rainbow
that are
Six is kind of like that with their characters. Even though they're free, they cost 50,000 in game. Rainbow $6.
Yeah, but like the money isn't that too far out of the area. Like League of Legends is a little bit.
To get
far out.
one character, you have to win like 100 games to get enough.
Oh, okay.
To buy
little-
to buy one character, because
Yeah,
you only
that's
if
a
you
little
win a game, you get like 200. Now these characters cost like 50,000. Rainbow $6. If you win, you get maybe 200. If you lose, you get about 100.
Oof.
So, like I said, you got to win a lot. It takes a lot of play time. That's why with me and Rainbow Six Siege, I just was like, nope, I'm gonna spend the $30 and just have them.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
But I always appreciated the fact that the maps were free.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, your money's going somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't really like this topic was.
It's kind of been a little all over the place.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
It was like two different topics collided together, but I feel like we've always talked about money pricing of games and how we feel is fair to what it is. There are some games that I have no understanding on why it's that expensive. For example, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered is $40 by itself, and Infinite Warfare is $20.
Oh, it's like 30.
It dropped. Yeah, it's cheaper. I think it's probably 30.
Yeah,
but it's
30.
cheaper than Modern Warfare Remastered.
Yep.
And I think of a game that came out in like 2006 or 7 or whenever it came out, it doesn't deserve a $40 price tag. I don't care how great the game is now. The game's been out for too freaking long for it to be freaking price.
I gotta say, even like with the Final Fantasy 12 remaster, that came out at 50, and I thought that was completely reasonable.
But the thing is that game is an online game, right?
No, 12. No.
12.
That's the remaster of 12.
What was the game that you bought? That was okay. So explain that. Is that
There's 11 is online and 14 is online.
so? 14 is the one you just bought.
No, I don't own 14 yet.
You okay?
I'm going
That's what
to.
I'm confused with. Okay,
going
so
to.
12, that's the one.
That's this one.
Was that on? That was on PS3,
PS2.
PS2.
Yeah, it was remastered from the PS2, and it was $50, and I think it's fair. I still think.
But the game is long though,
Yeah, the game is
and you
easily
can
100
play it.
hours.
Can you play it different ways?
I mean, you got jobs, right?
I mean, you can play the characters in different job types, but in terms of like the story, or there's like no path. It's not like it's all one ending. Like
Yeah.
it's like the story is linear.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's guild stuff, and there's like, in my opinion, yes, that for a remastered copy of that game, I think $60 would have been a little much. I think 50 was just fine. Was just on the spot.
Yeah, I'm just like my thing with Modern Warfare, and I know there would be the fightingness of saying, well, it comes with like maps and stuff like that. But like even then, I think there are some maps that you can't get in the game unless you bought it again, right? Like I don't know. I don't know very much about it.
Yeah.
I just know that for a game that's that old, for a first-person shooter to be $40, I just don't. I don't see it. And the fact that, like, for example, going even back to like Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2, you can go to GameStop and they're still like $30-$40 games.
Oh, really?
And I just don't understand how
For like a new copy or used?
you can't buy that game
Used?
new. It's for 360.
I haven't bought a game from GameStop in like 5+ years.
I just have started to. I lost a lot of respect for GameStop just over the years. I've just lost more.
Have
and
you
more
seen
of
what
it.
their stores are changing into?
They're ThinkGeek stuff. But
They're remodeling their stores. They're now focusing less on games and more about collectibles.
yeah, because that's yeah. But anyway, that's a different.
That's
thing.
a
I've
whole
noticed that
different.
over the
That's a
years.
whole different thing.
But I don't know. I just don't.
Do you think
It's a conversation that can be, well, this game does this well and this game does this well, but this game's cheaper and this way, but this is an indie game, but why is this one indie game more expensive? Why are the Switch games more expensive than this thing? Because it has
it's
more
a physical?
but even then it's like, okay, well, that makes sense. If we all based it on how Nintendo was doing it, that is probably what we want. But everyone criticizes Nintendo, going, "Why is this $60 when on the Switch or on the Wii U it was 40 some odd dollars?" Well, it's because this is up-resed. It's the deluxe version of it. It has all this bells and whistles. I think Nintendo, if we all come down to it, is probably the only company that's charging the correct amount for their games.
I won't disagree with that. Because, I mean, they released their remaster. Let's be honest. When they released their 3DS versions of, like, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, they were, what, $30-$40? Now,
because they were licensed by Nintendo.
Yeah, now you can get them for, like, $20.
They're all 20 because they're part of the selects.
Yeah. But now when you look at, like, when the BioShock collection came out, when Skyrim Remastered came out, those were... I believe those were just updates, free updates for the PC players who own them. Whereas if you were a console person, you had to repurchase them they were $60.
Well, I will say, because I was one of those people that has all of them on PC, I got the BioShock HD, BioShock 2 HD, but BioShock Infinite was not HD. So if I wanted that, I'd have to buy that.
Oh, okay.
But yes,
but
yes
like
that.
Skyrim, perfect example, is free for people who owned it on PC, and you could go the day before the
I have it. I have it on
the
PC.
day people came in, and the day before Skyrim Remastered came out, they came and bought Skyrim Ultimate Edition with all the DLC for $20. And
I bought mine for $5.
And then the next day
at a store.
Yeah, and then the next day they got the remastered $60 version for free.
Yeah.
Whereas, I spent more money on Skyrim, paid the $60 for the Xbox One remastered version, which in my opinion was worth it. Playing that game with mods, not the same kind of mods as PC, but just playing it differently for me is worth it.
So to answer the question, I guess if we were to put
we've
it into
really
a question,
strayed, but
it was
whatever.
It was more of, it's hard to answer a yes or no on, do we feel games are priced correctly or not. I feel, for myself, I'll do a wrap up for myself.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think Nintendo has probably the best way of doing it. Breath of the Wild being 60, Mario Kart 8 being 60, Cave Story being 30, like those type of things makes sense to me. Like this is an indie game. It's still on physical copy. It's not as long as obviously Mario Kart has replayability plus all this DLC crap plus exclusive stuff, and then as well as Breath of the Wild is a $60 game plus I think the DLCs are only like $20.
$20 for all of it,
and they're really chunky, and there's only 2. So I think, in my opinion, I think Nintendo has the right price point stuff. Is Microsoft and PlayStation going to follow that? Probably not. PC, definitely not. PC's just a big old mess anyway, just because you can get games that are usually $60 in like Humble Bundle for like 30. So it's it's weird how pricing of PC games are. I think some games deserve it, some games don't. Indie games that want to be licensed to bump their score, bump their price up to 60. I feel like you got to earn that.
Well, no,
I don't think Arc does.
I don't think the game. I think the games that have jumped on.
Well, hold on.
AAA, okay.
We'll get to yours in a second. But like, I think We Happy Few can get to a $60 value. It really can. Like the idea around that sounds awesome. Ark, don't think so. I think that game is done. It does not deserve $60 for it. I think it's $40 at best.
Mm-hmm.
And those are just examples of those two types of games. Story games, I feel, deserve more of a price tag. Multiplayer games, not so much. I thought when Call of Duty did the whole like $60 game or $50 game for Black Ops 3 on the past gen consoles, that they were like, oh yeah, but it's just multiplayer. I think that was a giant middle finger to that community to push everyone to the modern day consoles. But all in all, I can't really answer, in my opinion, which one's the best way to do this. There's no yes or no. We'll get to yours last just because it was your topic, so you'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Quinn, how do you feel wrap up this topic?
Video game prices suck.
I want my games
that's
for
it.
free.
You just want your games for free.
Yeah. Pretty
Okay.
much.
Sponsor us, and then we'll get our stuff for free.
I feel like I don't know how to wrap this up.
Just do what I did.
Yeah, you got 2.5 minutes. See how you can.
Prices suck. That's
I
it.
feel like we're kind of lucky that the AAA games are still 60.
Yeah.
I do understand. I do think games that have obviously less content on them shouldn't have a $60 price tag. I don't think Overwatch should have been a $60 price tag for console. I think they should have had the $40 option.
They did come with the Widowmaker skin, if you did get it.
Widowmaker skin is not worth 60.
Oh wait, that was
$20.
pre-order still. I keep
It's so
forgetting that.
beautiful.
I mean, it's weird. She has like dreads, but
Hey, it's pretty.
I don't think that's a $20 skin.
you can earn it. Well, that was a pre-order bonus. I forget to.
Yeah, it was like a first run sort of thing.
Yeah, but you can't get it any other way.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like some indie games do deserve a little bit more money, especially if they want to continue doing what they do. And, they got to make a living. I feel like, games, sitting, at around a $15 price tag. I understand why that's tough.
Yeah.
When you're making a game that you spend years making and, and it's an indie game. Indie game kind of has that stigma where if people feel it's more niche, because I can tell you, if an indie game doesn't produce a physical disc, I can't tell you how many people I meet at work that refuse to buy games digitally.
Oh, I know a lot
And
of
I'm
people
like-
that don't buy indie games because they're classified as indie games.
Yeah,
Like Rocket League's an indie game,
yeah.
and I mean, were you gonna give up on that? It's
Yeah.
one of the most popular games ever.
And so,
Minecraft was an indie game.
Yeah.
It's like,
and I think that the whole stigma of being an indie game is kind of, it sucks.
yeah, getting
But
thrown in the category.
yeah, it's just another title that's going to cause people to just overlook it.
Yeah.
And the thing is that there's so many indie games. Oh, that game I was talking about, by the way, earlier is Undertale.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was thinking of. Undertale.
Well, I don't know what the
Undertoad.
reference.
I don't remember either. I don't remember what we were talking about earlier, but
Ingrown toad.
that game I was trying to come up with like 10 minutes ago. It was
Okay.
Undertale.
Okay.
A lot of people love that game.
A lot of
It's
people
come-
do love that.
It's
game.
coming to PlayStation.
Oh.
It wasn't already?
I thought it was on Vita.
No, I think it's there. I think it's there now. I think
Is
it's there.
it-
Maybe.
Or I don't know.
Was it only on PC?
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Yes.
I think I don't know.
Oof, I hope that's not the actual time. No, I mean like of how long we've recorded this section.
Yeah.
This is definitely longer than this one.
Then I thought this is going a lot longer than I thought it would too. But I do think that paying for single player content is better than multiplayer. I think multiplayer maps, at least nowadays, I think the norm should be the map should be free, because then you're not splitting up your player base.
Yeah.
Maps and game modes. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just I just hope it gets, I don't know, I don't want to say I hope it gets better, but I hope something happens where it gets better for us.
Yeah.
We should just
I
remove
know they
indie
need to make
game
their money.
developers.
No more indie development. We can't
No.
do it.
That way, then we'll never have to hear about indie this, indie that.
Yeah,
again.
exactly.
Everything will just become a game.
Single A. They're all single A.
Because the thing with We Happy Few going AAA is they have a plan that they've shown that they're going to add meat to this game. Like they're adding story and all this kind of stuff. You know,
Beefy.
it's not
hot
like
meat.
Ark, where let's be honest, Ark is gonna probably be released not much different
No,
than
it's
what
not
it
gonna
is right
It's
now.
adult Minecraft. Don't make fun of it.
You can poop in the game. I did it in
What
the
other game can you
Ark.
poop in?
Exactly. Name another game you can poop in.
I can name games that you can pee in, but how
Yeah.
many games can you poop in?
You probably poop in Duke Nukem.
Maybe.
No,
Can
you
you
can-
fling it at people though?
I think you could draw with poop in Duke Nukem
course you
Forever.
Okay, well we'll remove Duke Nukem, and then what other game can you do that? Huh?
I don't know. But if you watch the Ark video, there is a part where I just
You
like
can-
I'm laughing so much because Christian is like actually playing the game, and then all of a sudden you hear me go, and then it goes, and I just crack up laughing, and he's like, "Ew!" and he goes, "Don't worry, I picked it up." I'm like, "Oh, thank you, I didn't." And so you can have in your inventory this
Yeah.
ball of crap.
Yeah, can you
use
like
it to
start
fertilize
fires?
your plant?
Can you start fires
I
with it
don't know.
and throw it at other people?
I'm sure you could throw it at other people. I did.
Is it
put-
multiplayer? Is it multiplayer?
Yeah, I played
Okay,
it with him.
yeah, I want to throw it at people.
He named himself Kerchak in the game. That's a Tarzan reference. I don't know if you got that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that was it.
No, that's it.
Okay.
We're good to go.
It's it.
If that was the end of that episode, ladies and gentlemen, this was Bitcade.
Episode
Oh,
5.
were we doing a thing?
Bitcade?
Okay, we'll play it on here. 3.
What are we
This
doing?
was
Bitcade!
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch more stuff, make sure you definitely hit the subscribe button. Each and every week, a video for Bitcade gets posted, as well as a few little bits of gameplays get posted throughout that week as well. Make sure you definitely check us out on Twitch. We are Primal_Target. You can now officially subscribe to us over there, as well as follow if you just want to join the PT Nation. But if you want to kick back stuff to us to allow us to buy better stuff, for example, a camera, because right now we're still on my iPhone. But anyway, please make sure you definitely subscribe over here as well. Go follow us on Twitter, Primal_Target. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/Primal Target. My name is Ryan A. Moore. This was
Quinn.
That was
David.
and we are